Here is a cost breakdown of my 8-day 7-night trip to Togo. At the time of the travel, 1,000 naira went for 400 sefa. Also, it should be noticed that I went on this trip with my friends, so most of the costs here are per person sharing.
Lastly, I would advise you do your proper research. Some of these costs can be tweaked to better. So now let's get into it. The first thing I spent my money on was transportation to Togo and back to Nigeria. I used the cross-country system. It cost me 90,000 naira going and 90,000 naira coming. That is a total of 180,000. The next thing I spent my money on was accommodation. If you know me, you know how important a good accommodation is to me. My accommodation is as important as my vacation because I need a space that is clean and safe. I moved around a lot while I was in Togo. I stayed in 3 different cities, so I stayed in 3 different accommodation spots. The first accommodation spot was about 46,000 sefa for 3 nights. The second accommodation cost 30,000 sefa, and the last one was 30,800 sefa. The next thing I spent my money on was on food. I make sure that all the spots I stayed in offered complimentary breakfast, so I didn't have to bother about breakfast. Lunch and dinner was on me, so I spent a total of about 35,000 sefa on food. You don't have to spend this much on food, but personally I had a lot of local dishes while I was there, so the cost of food was slightly. The last thing I spent my money on while I was on this trip was activities. What's the point of being in another country if you'll not be trying out things you normally would not do? So for activities, I spent about 20,000 sefa. I did a lot of free activities and a lot of paid activities as well. That brings my total spent to about 312,000 sefa, which is equivalent to 750,000 naira per person sharing. If you ask me, that is a fair price to spend on an 8-day trip. What do you think?